government. I had to get the right visas, the passport, I had to get the shots, I had to prepare all my materials, and of course I was very excited. So there were a lot of conditions in my going over there, not only for my safety and security, but just for the efficiencies. So that brings me to today, where if you would have told me I would be here speaking about an ancient traditional Chinese wisdom, the traditional Chinese wisdom of Qigong, and specifically Spring Forest Qigong. Thank you, Master Lin. Thank you, Deborah Lin. Thank you, Love Radiators. I would have like, whoa, how would have that happened? How would I gone from corporate to a spiritual light worker? Well, it's a long story, but it's a good story. It's my story. And I'll share that, and I'll share my thoughts. I'll share what I've discovered, as you probably discovered on your journey to be an unconditional love radiator and to be part of this beautiful community. You probably discovered things long before I did, but I found it in my own divine timing. I found it in my own divine way. I had guides along the side. I had teachers. I had beautiful people that gave me courage to continue on this journey. I'm not saying it was easy. I'm not saying it was walk in the park, but now I believe it was all worth it, and it delivered me to this spot here. And by the way, this spot is in eastern Washington. I live in Seattle, Washington, and I'm up here, as you can see, in a beautiful surrounding of a golf course in eastern Washington at the property of my dear brother. So let me begin. As I mentioned, I was in corporate America for quite many years, and I was well accomplished. I was in the computer sciences, I was in engineering, and I lived in a community and an organization that was a global organization that only was successful because of all the constraints, all the conditions, all the specifications that were levied to make us operate as a smooth, global, integrated machine to deliver products that operated securely, safely, and efficiently for all of our customers. So that was the world I lived in. I lived in a world of this is how we do things, this is how we get along, this is how we communicate. We don't have room for emotions, we don't have much room for intuition, we didn't have much room for anything that wasn't classified as facts and data. So I was able to thrive in that world. But I didn't feel at ease. And at that time, when I was over in China for the first time, and also for the second time, I felt a little bit uneasy. You know, you all know that feeling where, something's not right. And I realized somehow the conditions within me were actually causing a health situation. So I sought out Western medical attention, which is great, fantastic, for acute conditions in the case of emergencies. And it was very successful for the time being. And then I discovered that somehow my work level, my work-life balance, perhaps my eating habits were contributing to the dis-ease to come back. And so I went back to the doctors, and they said, well, there's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing we can do for you. You'll just have to live with it. And I go, really? I've got to live with this? Well, again, that little voice said, now there must be something else. And in parallel to that, I found that work wasn't satisfying. I wasn't being the person I wanted to be. I was not coming from the heart. I was coming from the brain. I was coming from rules, expectations, conditions I had for this is what success is. This is what happiness looks like. This is what joy looks like. This is what material abundance looks like. And every time I had an expectation, and either through time or acquisition or interactions, I realized that, I'm still not happy. I'm still not feeling it. And about that time, I found myself in a situation where I needed to respectfully and honestly leave my relationship with my family, and I found myself actually leaving the company that I was with because I needed to continue on this journey to find out what was that little voice, what was that thing that was deep within me that was saying, Terry, there's something more, but you need to take this next step. And I found out that next step was actually moving cross country, leaving my job after 36 years and actually going into the field of studying complementary alternative medicine. And that was back about 8 years ago. I moved across the country. I had the opportunity to work studying spirituality, how spirituality can improve, augment, complement Western healthcare. And that's when I was exposed to things like Reiki, hands-off healing, and this funny thing that I could not pronounce. And I could see it, I could read it, but I go, what is this? And I discovered it was Qigong. And so in parallel to doing my research with the organization I was with, I had this thirst for what is this thing called Qigong? What is this thing about energy? And of course, I was very familiar with folks like Max Planck and Tesla and Einstein coming from the science field. And I always kind of wondered about the quantum, the field, and things like that. So being a person that likes to drink in information and explore and travel and be in this beautiful world, I started pulling on the thread. And I found myself discovering Master Lin. And while I was also discovering other Qigong teachers and other teachers, there was something about Master Lin. And we all know what that is. We all know what that special thing about Master Lin is. No one I've ever met has a heart as big as Master Lin. No one has an ego as small or non-existent as Master Lin. No one has the sense of unconditional love for everybody. And no one else in the world has such a vision, a grand vision for the planet, for our community, for our world, and for generations to come. And that is a healer in every family and a world without pain, a world without suffering, a world living in unconditional love. And who cannot agree with that? Who cannot get behind that? Who cannot disagree and say, well, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to get a healer in every family. You know, it takes special equipment or it takes special qualities. You know, how is that possible? Well, it is. It really is. So that continued and deepened my journey with Spring Forest Qigong. So in parallel, I was continuing to do my research with a group that was also involved with people that had associations with other healers and well-known global healers and very spiritual and mystical people. But there was always something about Master Lin. There was always something about the simplicity, the profound simplicity, the profound integration of all this ancient wisdom from traditional Chinese medicine from 5,000 years ago, or even beyond that. Who knows? Who really knows? And so I continued in parallel to study Master Lin, and I found it amazing. Pretty soon, in fact, it was very, very quickly, I started playing with the energy ball. I said, what is this? I can feel it, but I can't see it. And I was like a little kid. In fact, people said, Terry, stop doing that. Stop doing whatever you're doing. But it felt so good. I said, here, try it. And I just continued to work with it and discovering the breathing of the universe and moving of yin and yang and connecting to heaven and earth and all the beautiful exercises that were helping me to reduce the blockages and also accelerate and amplify my natural healing abilities. My natural healing abilities, as Master Lin tells us, we are all born a healer. Consequently, at the same time, the situation where I was involved with studying spirituality, conditions changed. Things changed with the agreements, the business agreements, the terms and conditions, the requirements. And I found out it wasn't serving me. It was not a loving relationship. It was not a loving time in my life. In fact, my stress started to increase. So once again, I found myself, wow, it's time to separate once again and go with my heart, go with my gut. And that's what I did. I essentially started diving deeper into Spring Forest Qigong, taking the level 1, taking level 2, taking level 3, the Qi Sage, the animal healing, participating in various community events, and going to Master Qi conference in 2017, which was a beautiful experience. And so was this last Master of Qi conference. I can't wait for the recordings. I can't wait. That's a special time, a special gift to the world that we as a community of worldwide love radiators are giving to not only to ourselves, our families, our communities, and the world, but like I say, to the generations to come behind us. So once again, I found myself having to separate myself, to be true to myself, honor myself, and follow the path as Master Lin had described in his book, where he followed his path and he studied and he did the work. He continues to do the work. And like Master Lin, I'm not arrogant. I'm not that foolish to say I know a lot or I know this much. I will tell you, I would admit, I know itty bitty, just a little bit. And that's just in my nature because I love to study. I love to read. I love to see what other thinkers are doing. And in parallel to doing my research, I started to go back and research things like the Tao, Nag Hammadi, the Lost Gospels, the New Testament, spiritual leaders, contemporaries right now, Eckhart Tolle, just so many current teachers out there. But none had it all wrapped up the way Master Lin did. And the special thing about him and Spring Forest Qigong was this thing called Unconditional Love. And in my readings, in my journeys, I came across a quote by Lao Tzu. And I want to share that with you right now, as I think it's appropriate as we prepare to open up our hearts, experience unconditional love, and radiate love, not only for ourselves, our family, our community, our province, our state, our county, our country, radiate to our continent, but our whole world. We are being invited to experience love in our hearts. And so I want to read this to you. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. There must be peace in the heart. There must be peace in our hearts. My heart, your heart, everybody's heart. And for me, that was a wake-up call. I'd been operating out of my head up here. It's not a bad thing when you're an engineer or you're putting rocket ships in space, or you're testing airplanes to make sure that they're safe, secure, and they're going to take off properly, they're going to fly properly, and they're going to land properly, especially when they're transporting my friends, my family, and people I don't even know around the world. So I found out that I needed to move closer into my heart, and thanks to Master Lin, thanks to all the other masters that came before us, all the masters from cultures all over the world, from different times and different societies, at different times in history, who were all saying the same thing. They were all saying the same thing, although they said it in different languages, they said it in different ways, but they all pointed to the same thing, that the highest form of energy, the only thing that really matters, is unconditional love. Well, that's interesting to read. It could be theoretical, but what is unconditional love? We all know what conditional love looks like, and I'm not talking about the romantic or the puppy dog crush that we might have had when we were first teenagers or adolescents. I'm talking about the love that cannot be put into words, the unconditional love that is like trying to describe the smell of a newborn baby, or the smile of a newborn baby, or trying to describe in words God. And as you know, anybody who tries to or says, oh, I know who God is, I know what unconditional love is, I know exactly what a baby's smell smells like. Well, it's not the same for everybody. And our brains, our words are so small at this human level that we can't really understand. We have no comprehension. And this is where I admit that I've had glimpses of unconditional love that has just like, whoa, what is that? For me and for you, it could be different words, but when you think about unconditional love, it's, all I can say is bliss, divine, supreme happiness, oneness with the universe, oneness with the divine, oneness with myself, and a peacefulness. So conditional love, in contrast, is I will love you until, I will love you if, I will be happy when I get that condo, I will be happy, I will be at peace. There's all these conditions. But unconditional love is, it's unconditional, without stipulation, without terms or conditions, or if you are good, I will love you. If you do this for me, I will love you. It's unconditional. I can't emphasize that enough. Right now, I'm feeling joyful. I'm feeling joyful. Just thought I'd share that with you. So, I'll tell you one time where I felt that supreme, infinite, unconditional love. And also, if you had told me 5 months ago that I would be giving this talk, this cheat talk, the day before Mother's Day, I would have said, well, that's impossible. How would I get scheduled for that? And how would I be talking about unconditional love? I would have thought, how is that? Well, it turns out that the universe has blessed me again, because this is the day before Mother's Day. And in 2017, it was the week before Mother's Day. And I was at the Master Chi conference. And if you've never been to an in-person Master of Chi conference, you gotta go. You gotta go. It's a beautiful thing. And Master Lin is just joyful, and everybody there is just radiating some serious love. Radiating big time. So about 2 days in to the conference, I get a phone call. I'm back in Eden Prairie, and my sister had called me, and my mom was in hospice. My mom's name was Rita, and my sister said, Terry, they're saying that Mom has got 24 hours to live, and she'll be passing within the next 24 hours. And so we're all here we're with Mom, and I thought about it, and I said, Mom and I are at peace. I'd said goodbye to my mom on my prior visit. And my mom, just so you know who my mom is, she graduated from high school, didn't have a higher education. She had 9 kids, which I'm second. But she was my first love radiator. She was the woman that brought me into the world unconditionally. She was my first experience to love, unconditional love. She was the one that, when I fell down, she would make everything all better. I'd go running to her. We'd all go running to Mom. And if we had a skinned knee, she would hug us, you know, clean the wound, say some beautiful words. It's going to be all right. You're going to be fine. It wasn't just the words. It wasn't just her hugging. It was the whole package of her emotions, the vibration of her voice, her intention, her mental focus, coming from her heart. Everything about that experience was an experience of unconditional love. She had no judgment for anybody. If she did, I never saw it. I was never exposed to it. So she was my first love radiator, and I said, wow, that's pretty cool. Because here I'm at this conference with all these love radiators, and I decided, well, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay and I'm going to be with this community. And I look forward to Friday when I get to go home, and I get to go home and or back to Seattle, and I get to bury my mom. But I can't wait for Master Lin's closing Lotus blessing, where we all get together, hundreds of us in a circle, and we do a healing, not just for the people that are in the circle, but for everybody. We send our intentions using the power of prayer, using the power of Qi, not just the energy, not just the consciousness, but the love intelligence. That love intelligence that's part of the supreme Qi, as Master Lin tells us. So I figured, well, I'm going to tap into that. So I did, and I get on the airplane after the conference. I told Master Lin that I'm going home to bury my mom, and please say a prayer. And he said, I will. And I get back to Seattle. I land at the airport. I text my brother, and he's with my brothers and sisters, and they are standing around my mom's deathbed. And she had just passed. And my brother's phone buzzes, and he opens the phone, and he says, oh my gosh, Terry just landed. And at that point, when he announced that, my mom opened her eyes. My mom opened her eyes, and everybody goes, whoa, what happened there? So I quickly drove an hour and a half to be with my mom. I spent the night at my mom's bedside. In the morning when Mom was passing, I was sitting across from my mom with my sister Sheila, and while everybody's crying and Mom is transitioning, my sister says to me, what is that? What is that? And our hearts were just cracked open to this supreme bliss, peacefulness of unconditional love. And I was smiling. I had a glimpse of heaven. I had a glimpse of the total oneness I was being exposed to, given a taste of unconditional love. And my sister says, what is that? And she's smiling, and I'm winking. A year later, I told Master Lin about it, and he loved it. He said, yep, that was a love bomb. So that was my first love radiator, And so what I want to do now, I'm sure you watching right now, you have a love radiator, someone in your life, someone, either mother, grandmother, a brother, sister, a pet, a friend, someone that has unconditional love, someone that you know is connected to the oneness. And just take a moment right now. Take a moment and think of who that person is. Call them to mind. If you like, I invite you to close your eyes. Place your hands over your heart. Place your hands over your heart. Just close your eyes. A slow breath. And call that individual to mind. And feel their presence. Feel that love that they're shining, they're sharing with you right now. They may have transitioned, or they may be far away, or they might be in the next room. But feel that love just exploding, just shining in your heart, making you smile, letting you know that you are in the universe is in you, the universe and you are one, and likewise, they are with you. That loved one is with you. So say thank you to them, bless them, return the love, give them your blessing. So, wow, that was cool. So, what I found also in my research, my independent research, because as I mentioned, I'm still seeking a lot of validation, a lot of independent research to all the practices, all the beautiful things that Master Lin has brought together in Spring Forest Qigong. I mean, we're talking about mantras, we're talking about healing power of our thoughts, the healing power of water, sound, energy, traveling, regardless of time, distance, regardless of all types of conditions. Spring Forest Qigong taps into that. It taps into all these different facets that in my independent research, as I read things from Bruce Lipton, Dr. Emoto, Lynn McTaggart, Larry Dossey, the power of prayer, the power of intention. I got into biophotons, and it's been discovered that biophotons are just a representation of us as light beings. We are nothing but light beings. And I'm so, wow. So I've got endless information that just validates. And I go down my checklist. Well, Master Lin says this, and this scientist says this. And I go, check. Master Lin says this, check, 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 check. And I go, wow, everything. You know, everything from slowing down your breathing, that's well documented as a benefit to reducing the heart rate, getting into the parasympathetic state, getting to mindfulness, even fasting. Fasting is a perfect way to detox. So I decided I don't have to search anymore. I don't have to search anymore. The only searching I have to do is continue to work within my own abilities to amplify and accelerate my healing ability and my own birthright of being a healer. And so I'm very appreciative for this opportunity to share this with you. And that's where I was saying the secret sauce to Spring Forest Qigong is not the technique, it's not the movement, it's not the breathing slowly, it's the unconditional love. And that's what's missing. That's what's missing in a lot of other Qigong lineages or scientific approaches. It's the unconditional love that all the rishis, saints, mystics, wise people, the gurus, they all pointed back. You know, from Jesus, Lao Tzu, Buddha, Saint Francis, Yogananda, you know, the list goes on. Check, check, check. They all said the same thing, unconditional love. We're all one. It's all one world. So to that, I would say Unconditional Love is kind of the super glue. It's the super glue that holds everything together. It holds all the scientific research together, validates that. It's the super glue that holds Spring Forest Qigong. It's the super glue that holds the universe together. Unconditional love. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So I'd like to also share something else as I continue to explore and practice Qigong and share it as much as I can. I shared it with a dear friend of mine who is a research certified healer and medium. Her name is Deborah Martin, and I shared with her some of the movements of Qigong, and she'd never heard of it. And she shared with me how she does her long distance healing and other contacting with those on the other side. And when she described that, and mind you, she doesn't have any training in Qigong. She doesn't have any training in some of these techniques that I do. But when she described it, a lot of the things that she was gifted with in her connection with the universe are parallel. They're in sync with what Master Lin teaches. For example, if you're going to heal someone and there's a pair of organs, you always start with the healthy organ first, using that intelligence, that blueprint, that pattern that exists for a healthy kidney, if you will, or lung, or ear, or whatever, and that gets communicated. Deborah's also shared that just the opening of the palms, and I'm going, wow, how does she know that? And it was just a validation for me that there's a lot more out there that I don't know. And again, I admit what I know could probably be written on a grain of rice or sand there. So it's a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing that our intention changes our DNA. A beautiful thing that our heart is the most powerful, energetic organ in our bodies. And when we operate from the heart, we can transform not only our DNA, but we can radiate out and change others. And you probably heard the story of the two premature twins that were born in 1995 in Massachusetts. And they were put in the preemie care facility of the hospital. And they were in separate compartments or little bassinets. And one took a turn for the worse. And the nurse, who was on duty at the time, took it upon herself to go against hospital regulations to take the healthy baby and place it in the incubator or the little crib with the not so healthy, the struggling twin. And immediately the healthy baby reached out and put her arm around her sister. And immediately the vitals changed. And at the time they attributed that to the hug from the healthy sister. And they're both healthy now. They're probably in college. And I would suggest it wasn't just the hug. It was the intention, it was the connection, it was the sentiment, it was the unconditional love that babies have, that new children have, that our pets have, when you think about what unconditional love is. And so that was just one example there. That unconditional love is so healing. And so what I'd like to do now, I'd like to ask you to join me as we do a little meditation. Let's do a little meditation. So just pull up the nearest rock. Oh, look at this. We got a rock here. And if you can't find a rock, go ahead and find a chair. Any chair will do. If it's straight back, that's great. So find yourself your rock. And hands on your knees. And close your eyes. And place your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Breathing in through the nose, gently, slowly. Exhaling through the nose. Call upon your master. Call upon your master's energy. And feel your master's presence before you. Feel their unconditional love surround you, bathe you. Feel them glowing and shining. And as you feel that expansiveness, place a smile on your face. And smile is start my internal love engine. And feel that smile within your heart. That beautiful smile, glorious, unconditional love just radiating, shining. And we say the password. I'm in the universe. Universe is in me. Universe and I are one. And as we see our master standing before us, in front of us, and we focus on our dantian as the light from our master is shining ever so brightly within our dantian, a golden bright light radiating all throughout our body, all throughout every organ, every muscle. All 50 trillion cells are radiating, shining with this love. And see our master smiling, bright shining eyes. The light from their eyes is shining into our eyes, our hearts, our whole body. And feel their presence as we become one with the universe, bringing us so much happiness as we receive this unconditional love. We accept this unconditional love. We become this unconditional love. And now, I invite you to bring and invite your love radiator, whoever your love radiator, mother, sister, brother, grandfather. If you have more than one, that's fine. Invite your love radiators to join you. See them coming, flying across gently, bathed in glorious illumination of unconditional love from the ends of the universe. As they stand before you, radiating love in glorious white clothing, They're smiling. Their eyes are shining. You can see so much love in their smile in your face. You know this is real. You can feel it. You can feel it in every cell, every atom, every part of your body. And your love radiator steps forward. And they place their hand on your heart and feel their love. Just accept this love. Receive it. Know it's real. And you smile back and you thank them. You bless them. And they smile back. They bow. And you see them gently, softly lifting up and flying away to the ends of the universe. And your master is also smiling. And they say thank you. And your master blesses you one more time with this infinite love. And he or she says goodbye. And you say, thank you, I bless you. And you see them go back to the ends of the universe. And now focus on your dantian. You see it glowing, shining, pulsating with infinite love and light just radiating out. Feel your heart shining and glowing, radiating so much love. And the light in your dantian, just see it spinning round and round, faster and faster, smaller and smaller. Size of a tennis ball, size of a golf ball, size of a marble, faster and faster, brighter and brighter. Now it's an energy pill, and tuck it deep behind your navel. And 3 gentle breaths. And rub your palms together. And massage your dantian. Sealing in, honoring, protecting this unconditional love, this chi, this loving intelligence. And massage your face. Shape of the heart. And wow. Wow. And thank your Master once again. Thank your love radiator. And as we come to the end, I want to say thank you once again to Master Lin. I want to say thank you to Deborah Lin. I want to say thank you to the whole home office at Spring Forest Qigong. I want to say thank you and bless you to all the beautiful love radiators. You're my teachers, you're my guides, you're my fellow love radiators. And it's been my honor to be with you today and share. And before I say goodbye, there's one last quote from a famous mystic priest of the 19th century. And he's no longer with us, but he was before his time. And his name is Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. And he said, "Someday, after we had mastered the winds, the waves, the tides, and the gravity, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And for the second time in history, we will have discovered fire." I'll read that one more time. Someday, after we have mastered the winds, the waves, the tides and gravity, we shall harness for God the energies of love. Then for the second time in history of the world, we will have discovered fire. We have discovered fire. It's called unconditional love. Bless you and thank you. I love you. If you have thoughts you want to share with me, you want to reach out, contact me. Check me out on my website, terryleers.com, or send me an email. But in the meantime, I bless you. I thank you.